A child once cupped her hands to catch falling rain. The tighter she squeezed, the less water she held. But when she loosened her grip and simply opened her palms, the rain pooled effortlessly in her hands. It was never about effort, only about openness. And in that moment she realized, what we try to hold too tightly, we often lose. What if the reason you haven't received what you desire is because you've been trying too hard to hold on to it? In this video, you'll discover how resistance, even quiet, subtle resistance, disrupts your ability to receive. I'll guide you through the power of silence, surrender, and energetic alignment, so you can finally tune into the wealth that's been reaching for you all along. Let go. Lean back. This may be the moment where everything changes. A harp out of tune may still look elegant, but the sound will betray its dissonance. In the same way, resistance may not always be loud. It may hide quietly in your thoughts, your posture, your breath. It may whisper, not shout. But I tell you, this subtle noise is enough to scramble the signal of wealth, enough to muffle the frequency of abundance seeking its way to you. You see, most people think resistance is rage or panic, but often it's softer. It's the worry behind a smile, the tension in a meditation, the need to prove or perfect. Silent manifestation does not mean absence of sound alone. It means the presence of peace within. When your energy says, maybe, your results will too. Clarity, not volume, is what the universe hears. You must become sensitive to this inner sound, not with your ears, but with your awareness. Where in your life do you say you're open but feel tight? Where does the wealth frequency try to enter only to meet subtle static? It could be in over-checking your bank balance, in overthinking your visualizations. These habits are not loud, but they are noisy. Begin here. Notice, not to judge, but to listen. You are learning a new form of hearing, the way the soul listens for alignment. And once you can hear your own resistance in stillness, you are ready to feel the difference between forcing and flow. A river forced from its path becomes a flood, but left to its course, it nourishes everything it touches. The same is true for your energy. Forcing a manifestation may feel like action, but its vibration often carries lack, urgency, and mistrust. Flow, on the other hand, is invisible yet potent. It doesn't try to get somewhere. It already knows it's going. Forcing sounds like repetition without faith, scripting with desperation, or trying to visualize harder. Flow is different. Flow trusts that the signal has already been sent, and now it simply aligns. Energetic alignment is not about perfect thinking. It's about relaxing into resonance. When your state is soft and attuned, wealth begins to echo back without resistance. Imagine the difference between pushing a door and letting it swing open. That is what forcing versus flow feels like in manifestation. One is effortful and tiring. The other is guided and quiet. When you're in flow, your actions are inspired, not anxious. Your thoughts are spacious, not gripping. And most of all, your frequency becomes consistent, which is what reality responds to. You begin to realize that the louder you try to manifest, the weaker the signal becomes. But in flow, everything becomes clearer. And this clarity often arrives not in noise, but in silence, a kind of power that doesn't announce itself, but moves through everything. The stars do not speak, yet they guide oceans. So too does silence guide reality, not through commands, but through vibration. In the realm of silent manifestation, silence is not emptiness. It is an energetic language spoken by the soul. When you are quiet within, your signal becomes sharp, undistorted, and undeniable. The universe listens best to what is not said, but felt. You may think affirmations must be loud or repeated, that desire must be spoken constantly. But I tell you, the most powerful affirmations are felt in the stillness of your being. One moment of true, silent knowing carries more force than 100 desperate declarations. This is vibration frequency in its purest form, not effort, but essence. When you hold the feeling of wealth in silence, without needing to explain or repeat, you become a transmitter of truth, not a seeker, a sender. Silence doesn't mean you're doing nothing. It means you are doing the most important thing of all, stabilizing your signal. And that signal, held in calm certainty, creates the magnetic field that pulls form into alignment. So speak less, feel more, sit with your desire, and let it dissolve into your vibration. This silence is not passive, it is power condensed. And as you begin to honor that language, you'll start to see how noise, even internal, is what has been standing between you and wealth all along. Imagine trying to hear a whisper in a crowded room. That's what it's like when the universe tries to deliver wealth while your inner world is filled with noise. Noise isn't just sound, it's cluttered thoughts, anxious checking, emotional turbulence. These invisible layers interrupt the channel like static over a sacred signal, and they often feel like doing something. Noise can look productive, endless scripting, over-visualizing, or obsessively watching manifestation content. But underneath, the vibration is frantic. Wealth frequency is subtle. It doesn't scream. It arrives when the signal is clear, not necessarily through silence alone, but through stillness, through energetic quiet, through presence without pushing. You may be unintentionally blocking wealth by overthinking your methods, second-guessing your intuition, or constantly asking for signs. These actions create energetic noise. They say to the universe, "I don't believe it's already working." Silent manifestation is not about more techniques. It's about fewer interruptions, less doubt, less commentary, more trust. As you begin to quiet the static, you'll feel the difference, a sense of space returning within you. And in that space, something begins to emerge. A calm, soft frequency that needs no effort to be heard. That's the signal of wealth already seeking its way to you. And now, you're ready to tune in more clearly than ever before. A tuning fork doesn't chase the sound, it becomes it. In the same way, to receive wealth, you don't need to find the right method or voice the right phrase. You simply need to match the frequency. And the frequency of wealth doesn't live in noise. It lives in quiet conviction, in that deep inner knowing that says, "It is already mine." To tune in quietly is to attune your nervous system, your breath, your awareness to the state of already having. Close your eyes. Feel the version of you who already lives in abundance, not the amount, but the energy. Wealth frequency is not about digits. It is about how you dwell within yourself. It's safety, expansion, ease. This can be done through silence, through breath, through still sitting in your space with no expectation, only presence. Silent manifestation works best when you become more interested in feeling the result than in tracking it. You stop waiting for it and begin living from it. That's how the frequency stays clear. You don't have to speak it to prove you believe it. You only have to feel it. And the more you feel it, the more you begin to trust it. And trust is what replaces the resistance that once clouded your signal. A knot doesn't untangle by pulling harder. It loosens when you release tension. Resistance is the pull. Surrender is the loosening. In manifestation, this surrender isn't giving up. It's giving over. It's letting go of the weight of how and falling into the soft certainty of it is done. Surrender is the most graceful way to say, "I trust." Most believe surrender is passive, but in truth, it's one of the most powerful energetic actions you can take. To surrender is to step out of the way, to allow the current to carry you. When you surrender, you're not abandoning your desire. You're embodying the belief that it no longer needs chasing. It has already begun arriving. This is where energetic surrender becomes your greatest tool. It shifts your focus from fixing to flowing, from proving to allowing. The wealth frequency responds not to urgency, but to openness. Silent manifestation draws from this exact state, the soft, expectant calm of one who no longer doubts their reception. As you surrender more fully, you begin to listen differently, not for signs or answers, but for guidance from within. That's where we turn next, toward the quiet wisdom that's always been speaking below the noise. The owl hears what the day cannot, not because the world is quieter at night, But because the owl is made for stillness, so too are you designed to hear truth beneath the noise. Internal listening is not about finding answers, it's about feeling alignment. Most seek guidance outside, but I tell you, your most accurate compass lives within. To listen internally, you must first create silence. Not outer silence, but inner spaciousness. That means stepping back from mental loops, external advice, and obsessive how-to methods. Vibration frequency becomes clear when you stop seeking and start sensing. The signs are subtle: a calm yes, a sudden knowing, a soft pull toward action. They don't shout, they arise. This is where silent manifestation becomes real. You stop asking if it's working. You start feeling when you're aligned. That's internal listening. It isn't logical, it's energetic. And it deepens when you slow down, breathe, and stop expecting noise. In this space, wealth becomes not something you request, but something you're led to and through. And it is here, in this deeper quiet, that the most profound shifts take place. Not through force, but through gentle rewiring. Through an inner tuning so powerful, it begins to reach into your subconscious and reshape what you believe is possible. A field left undisturbed grows wild and full again. So too does your subconscious begin to regenerate in stillness, when not interrupted by pressure, worry, or noise. Most people try to force new beliefs with effort, but I tell you, repetition without stillness is resistance in disguise. True transformation comes when the soil of the mind is soft, open, and still. Stillness creates access. It brings the conscious and subconscious into harmony. When you sit silently in the feeling of wealth, without grasping, without proving, you impress the idea of wealth as normal, not special. And once something feels normal to the subconscious, it no longer resists it. It allows it. It welcomes it in. This is where energetic alignment becomes embodied. You stop telling yourself you're wealthy. You start believing it without words. Your actions soften. Your nervous system stabilizes. You don't repeat affirmations because you need them. You breathe them into being. That's the silent shift that rewires your reality. And once this rewiring has begun, there's no need to effort your way forward. You now begin to enter a completely different dimension of receiving, not passive, but potent. And that, my friend, is where we arrive next. The moon pulls the tides without lifting a finger. This is the essence of receiving, not as inaction, but as magnetic force. We have been taught that power comes from pursuit, but in truth, spiritual power often comes from presence. To receive is not to wait passively. It is to rest in such clarity, such certainty, that what is yours cannot miss you. Receiving is the final form of belief. When you receive, you are no longer seeking confirmation. You are embodying arrival. The wealth frequency responds to this, to the energy of one who already has. And so, your silence becomes a throne. Your breath becomes a signal. Your calm becomes your command. This is the most misunderstood part of manifestation. Many think receiving is something you earn or prove, but I tell you, it's something you allow. The moment you stop resisting, the energy reorganizes. Opportunities move, people respond. Money flows, not because you chased it, but because you finally stopped chasing. And now you understand. Silence is not emptiness, it is fullness, unshaken. And it is from this fullness that the real receiving begins. Now ask yourself, where have you been quietly resisting the very thing you've asked for? Where could you soften, surrender, and allow the energy to move without force? Share your reflections below. Your insight may help someone else, and your awareness will deepen in the sharing. And if this resonated with you, like the video, subscribe, and tap the bell to stay connected to this silent path of manifestation.